Welcome back to DeRo and the Diehard. We've returned after the holiday break, a little bit overweight, breaking out probably because of all the sweets, but we're back and ready for some more football. It's the turn of the year. 2026 is here. Absolutely massive. DeRo, how was your holiday, man? What did you get up to?
Oh, great. Fantastic. Speak for yourself, man. I'm in the best form I've ever been. I'm getting ready for the World Cup, man.
You getting ready for the call-up?
2026, man. We're here. Can you believe it?
I'm excited.
I'm so excited, man. I'm looking forward to an exciting year, exciting episodes ahead of us, and a great year of football. We could run through the whole gamut of all the different leagues and the excitement coming up, Champions League, and, of course, as we all anticipate, the world's biggest event.
I mean, we're coming down to the best part of the year. 16 episodes ago, we were starting in probably September, I think it felt like. And the World Cup felt like a world away. 2026 felt like a world away. We're 6 months from the biggest sporting event ever, probably, in the country that we consider home, in the city that we consider home.
Yeah, you know what? And to be ambassador for the World Cup, which I'm extremely proud of, huge honor, and just knowing the legacy that it's going to create, the impact it's going to create, the love, the passion that it's going to fuel and inject in so many young, affectionate, kids that are being introduced to the sport at a young age, and they're going to see their heroes coming to town. We all know who's coming to town now. We all know the countries that are coming, and they're very heavily supported countries. And it's going to be, these streets are going to be filled with excitement, with fuel, with passion, running through the streets. And it's man, I just can't wait. I can't wait.
It's going to be a loud time, man. And I think this, from right now until when the World Cup happens, this is the best stretch of sports that we have to offer. You got playoffs for pretty much every sport in North America aside from baseball. You got the creme de la creme of the soccer that's coming through. I mean, like you said, Champions League, the leagues are winding down, so things are going to get a lot more intense. And then it's all capped off with this beautiful tournament in the summer. But speaking of the international game, let's talk about our boy, just quickly. Ali Ahmed is going to Norwich in the championship to play in England, and he's not the first guy to do so. I think Richie Larea went a few years ago to the championship and competed. Tell me about this move. I mean, this is fantastic. He had a great season with Vancouver. He gets recognized from a team in England that has Premier League pedigree in the last decade or so, and now he's going to England to play a completely different style of game.
You know what? Ali's story is a true Canadian story.
Yeah.
Very similar like most of our stories. Family moved to Toronto, grew up, made Toronto their home, had Ali, and now he's taken this game. Now he's traveling the world, went to Vancouver.
Yeah.
Got bought out from Norwich. It's a great story. Happy for him. Happy for his family. Huge inspiration for his community as well.
Yeah, massive.
And and a community that's actually from what I have seen in the East African community, the Somalians, Eritreans, Ethiopians, there's some good footballers there. There's some really good footballers in that community. So hopefully he will inspire that whole community to pursue their passion. Yeah. Because he's what could possibly happen if you pursue that passion, right? I like him because he's daring. He's different. He's an old school winger.
Yes,
that likes to take players on.
Very much so.
And he's exciting. I like watching him. He's a joy to watch. He's exciting to see, and I'm glad that Canada took I wouldn't really say gamble, but it was a gamble on him
at the time.
And look at him, man, scored in the finals, right? And now is rewarded with a great move to Norwich. I think it's a great move to Norwich, a city and a club that has its Canadian roots, with Jimmy Brennan playing with Norwich back in the days, and now Ali Ahmed. And wish him all the best. Norwich, you got a great player on your hands. He's a future star, and I think it's a great move.
Yeah, and I mean, they took a gamble. I guess they're taking a gamble on a guy, but he's proven here. He plays very well for us on the international stage as well with Team Canada. And they're getting a guy at a time where they need it.
Yeah, they have injuries.
They need a guy like him, and they're 22nd and out of 24 in the league table. Like this is do or die time for them. So the pressure is going to be on for him, but I have no doubt that he'll rise to it. And it's a different kind of scenario. Imagine you're going from one team that just really competed in that final with Inter Miami to the opposite end of the spectrum, having to win now. There's 20 games left or so in the championship, but they got to get out of that zone to stay in that league and not go to League One. So it's very exciting.
And championship division, for a lot of people that don't know, it's a tough. It's very intense. It's very physical. It's very direct.
Oh yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how his game adapts to the championship.
Yeah. Well, like you said, he's an old-fashioned winger, right?
Right.
So this is old-fashioned football.
Yeah.
Like it's more physical than the Premier League. It's 7 games longer, and then given if you get into the playoffs, it even extends to that, and it's physical football. So this is going to toughen him up at the
100%.
perfect time. And I really like him joining a European side ahead of 2026. This is going to keep him in shape right up until the decisive moment where he is inevitably called up to play for Canada.
Yeah, listen, he's under good tutelage. I know his agent very well, David Baldwin. Obviously, he's done some of the biggest, or not even some of the biggest moves across MLS.
Yeah.
And, I know he's under good guidance from him. And, I know he has our support. And, I think, again, the big question mark is how will his game translate to that league. But let's talk about another thing. Would you have thought in September the Gunners are gonna be the not only number one in the Premier League, but number one in Europe right now?
I'm telling you, man, when we were having these discussions,
number one team in Europe right now.
Episode
top
3,
of the Champions League,
dude.
Top of the Premier League.
Oh yeah, you must be buzzing. Eh?
Oh, I'm buzzing. I don't want this. I don't want this to end.
Listen, today they play Liverpool, and that is really
huge.
where you make your money. That's the meat and potatoes right there, because we've talked about Liverpool a lot. We talked about Arsenal quite a bit. Liverpool's taken that slide, but it's still Liverpool.
Yep.
This is still a game that puts you even more ahead, and I think I want Arsenal, like, they got to lock in a little bit here, because like you said, top of the Champions League is hard enough. Top of the Premier League, that's the one they've really been chasing over the last Arteta's tenure, so 4 or 5 years now. They can win it. Like, it's here. This is real now. We were talking before, and you're like, they're going to collapse. We're worried about their stability. We're worried about their consistency.
Well, that's historic. That's been historic Arsenal of
exactly. That's what you
late, right? Is that they're winning a game, and somehow in the last 5-10 minutes they find a way to lose a game. Mm-hmm. But now we're seeing players buying in. Now we're seeing Arteta really stamping his authority and his style in the team, and the players are playing for the manager, and that's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
And once you achieve that, you see the outcome. The players are dying for the badge.
Not only do they look like that, they look motivated. Their intensity is at the perfect amount. Their defense is just incredible. I mean, between Saliba and Gabriel, this is a real team, man. This is a team that we are now looking at, and we're like, you know what? Like, it's January 8th. They only got to go and do this until April, and it's doable. And for me, if they win today, I think it's all set. I think it's wrapped. Yeah,
I mean, it should be.
Yeah.
As we know, as we see in the past, there's no guarantees.
No, there's not. But intangibly, I think.
But it puts them in a very good position. That if they do stumble, they still have some leeway, which is very important in any league, much less just the Premier League. So, man, it's crazy. I would never thought going in 2026 we would say Arsenal's the top team in Europe
confidently. Yeah. And so for you, all right, you're watching this team that you love. What would you rather them win this year, the Prem or the Champions League?
Both
if possible. Of course,
if possible.
Case,
I
mean,
mean,
if you got to take one, which is the one you're taking?
You got to go with Champions League.
100%. But a lot of Arsenal fans, like, they haven't won the league in 20 years. Right?
Yeah, they haven't won anything in 20 years.
They haven't won the Champions League ever.
so we'll take any trophy that comes. But like we've said, what we're seeing now is Arsenal that's done a 360. Arsenal that's finding ways to win, grinding out results when needed, and that's why they are where they are.
And for me, this comes down to the trust the club gave in Mikel Arteta
and the time.
And
It's proof that sometimes some managers and systems and philosophies, they need just a little bit time. It's not going to happen right away.
And you know what? This actually segues perfectly into our next topic. We'll come back to the Canada talk, but like you said, timing. Give the managers time. Give them time to relate to the players, to organize their club, to implement their philosophy. And the one thing that managers right now are not getting, unfortunately, DeRo, is time. Now, over the holiday break, since our last recorded episode, for lack of a better term, shit has hit the fan. Managers are leaving, managers are getting sacked, and that all is going to start with our boy that we've discussed at length. Ruben Amorim finally got the sack. He received his notice of firing or termination the morning after a really fiery press conference with Leeds, where he dropped some pretty incredible quotes that I will play right now. And they are, like, this pretty much put the nail in the coffin for Ruben Amorim. Here's the quote.
I came here to be the manager, not to be the coach. And it's going to be like this for 18 months or when the board decided to change. I'm not going to quit. I will do my job until other guy is coming here to replace me.
So that came out, and the notion, I mean, the English press had a field day with this, as you can imagine. They thought that he, even though he's under contract for the next 18 months, he's not going to re-sign with them after, he's going to not continue. And then this put pressure on him saying, I want to be the coach. I want to be the manager. I don't want to be the coach. This, that, and the other.
It's very important we clarify to the public what that means, because in North America we hear coach
and we think the same thing,
and we think it's one and the same,
one-dimensional.
But in Europe, a coach is someone that puts down the cones, organizes the training. The managers kind of sit back and manages his plan, manages his vision, manages his philosophy, manages his structure, manages the players. So they get a bird's eye view and oversees kind of his plan and his vision. The coach executes his plan and his vision.
Yes.
Right? So it's very important that, because we call coaches here, we call them coaches, but they're really at the pro level, you're a manager, you're not a coach.
No.
The reason why is because you're managing individuals first and foremost. You're managing your philosophy or your ideology or methodology of how you want the team to play, how you see them fitting in within your system of play, whether that's a 4-4-2, a 3-5-2, whatever it is. And in managing individuals and how they fit within that structure. So managing the front office, managing expectations. So when you talk about a coach now, a coach is the one that's a manager says, okay, listen, today we're going to work on defending in the final third. I want you to set up a training session, defend in the final third. Okay, this is what we're going to work on today. I manage it now. You come to me, show, okay, no, let's do this. We're going to do this for 15 minutes, but we're going to do this for 20 because I want us to focus more on this. And then the fitness guy, okay, I want you to take them for the first 10, 15 minutes because we need to work on a fitness at the end. That's a manager's job.
Yes.
And then he sits back and observes and manages what is being directed.
Yeah.
Right. And so just give you guys some clarity on when he's speaking of, I came here to manage. I didn't come here to coach. Now, in that press conference, it shows me there's been a disconnect between Amorim's vision and I guess his thoughts of coming in to steering the ship towards what United maybe wanted or their expectations. Maybe they want him to manage and coach.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And he's like, no, I am a manager. I have my coaches in place and I can't do both. Because to make that statement, that's a pretty bold statement.
What does that mean? I took it as he was clashing with the United hierarchy, and there are several reports. Yeah, I think so, because, I mean, like, he wants to be the manager, in my opinion. I don't know if he wants to necessarily be the hands-on coach kind of guy, but he came into the club, and I mean, we know this. Every coach that's come into this club since Fergie left has pretty much came into a disaster. Right? And I think that he wanted to manage the team from this level to bring them back to where they're supposed to be. I took it as I wanted this guy and this guy in the offseason, and you gave me this guy and this guy.
Right.
I want to play this way. You're telling me to do this thing with these players, and it just won't work out. And I think, there were recent reports that came out that saying this past summer he wanted Emiliano Martinez in net from Villa and Ollie Watkins also from Villa. And what he got in return was Sesko and the young guy Lamens. Now, not necessarily bad transfers, but not what he was promised. And I think over the course of his tenure, there's reports that are insinuating that initially he had the control. Initially he had the role that he wanted to have. And then towards the end, where we see the results sort of drop off, they're like, no, we're going to control the market. We're going to control who we get. We're going to control the scouting, and you're going to take control of the team and be the coach. So I took it as that, but that's an interesting other perspective that you're looking at it as, because, in your opinion, if you're going to give this situation a diagnosis and how it all fell apart so quickly, what is that diagnosis?
Man, that's a loaded question. I mean, you could be talking. There's a lot of elements that come into play here.
Yeah.
Right now, is it his staff? Is it all his staff? If it's not his staff, and United, put some people in position, assistant coach, whatever, assistant manager, whatever it is, then there could be a confrontation there.
Yeah.
Right. I want X and you want Y. Mm-hmm. Right,
a guy that represents them.
Right.
In there,
so
yeah.
now he's going back to the ownership group and saying, listen, I don't know why he's doing this. He wants to do it this way, and we think we should do it this way. That creates such a friction.
Yeah.
And so much times that's happened, like across the board in all sports.
Yeah.
When the manager and the coach don't see eye to eye, the assistant coach and the coach don't see eye to eye, and the assistant goes behind their back and talking to, and it just creates confrontation. And then of course there's that lack of synergy in the dressing room where the players are seeing that now, and the players like, these guys are on different pages because the assistant coach came, hey man, head up. You know what? I think you should be starting.
Yeah.
And the manager's like, in front of everyone's like, no, I like this guy, and it creates such
it's a disaster.
It's
really.
a disaster.
Yeah.
It's a recipe of complete disaster. But we spoke about this early on. The results, again, it's a results game. A team like Manchester United, we want to see the Man U return again. Mm-hmm. There's so much work to be done, and they're just not doing it. Whatever they're doing, they're not getting the right fit. They're not finding the right match for that club.
No,
and they need someone and an organization that's very clear on their objectives and very clear on what exactly do they want.
Yeah.
And it's going to take time.
It's going to take time. And for me, as a United fan, I don't agree with the move just on that basis. I think that it's about time, not to overuse the word. It's about time that this club gave managers more time. It's about time that you find your guy. They found this guy while he was managing another team. They took him from the team where he left, but they essentially took him from the team to bring him here because they identified him as the guy they want moving forward. The owner of this team, the company Ineos and Jim Ratcliffe, the only indication they ever gave people was that he was here to stay. That was it. And it's been, Jesus, he's managed 60 something games. That's it. And that's less than 2 seasons. And I look at the stats here and I think 25 wins, 15 draws, 23 losses. Unacceptable, really. Man United used to get...
He still has more wins than losses.
He does, by 2. But unacceptable in terms of Man United used to get 25 wins in a season, right? But in Fergie. But this is where they want it in Fergie era.
When?
2011 and behind, right? So this is 15 years ago now.
Right, that's a long time.
It is a long time, but this is where they want to go. So this is who you want to be. Goal against differential, 122 to 114. Points per game of 1.43. Like, these are very mid numbers. But the positives I saw from him were the dressing room was changing a little bit. Like, that toxic, leaking dressing room of old was sort of going away. He sent away Marcus Rashford. He dealt with people who were bad eggs at the club. Now, then again, he would draw, lose, draw, win, and consistency was a big thing, and then he never really changed his tactics. But now they're bringing in Darren Fletcher as an interim, and there's talks of bringing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer back to the club as a caretaker to the summer. In my mind, this club is the worst ran sports franchise debatably in the world. As a big club like that, can you point out a worse run franchise in any sport with a club of that size? Because I can't. Not the Dallas Cowboys, not the whoever, not the Leafs. Like, I look at this team and I'm like, this is none of this.
Ravens?
These appointments. The Ravens, the Raiders, probably. I mean, like
Ravens.
The Ravens. Yeah, true. I mean, now they just sacked Harbaugh. Yeah, that's
no.
a different type of thing.
Listen, at the end of the day, it's a club, as we spoke about. Massive club, massive contributions to the world of football. They are losing supporters. Even in the Caribbean, being West Indian, going there, it was two teams, Arsenal or Man United.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That narrative is changing.
And what
Chelsea,
is it more now?
Manchester, Man City.
Man City.
Yeah,
good.
Man City.
Yeah, good. Good. No, good. They deserve that.
Things are shifting, right? So they need to get back to their winning ways. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but sacking managers after manager after manager, I don't think is the right recipe. I think they could have probably just waited this out towards the end of the year.
Just see how it goes, because they're not in a bad position right
no,
now.
exactly.
They're
You're not in relegation.
They're not.
Position.
They're top 10. They're 8.
Yeah.
Where do you want this team to be with the personnel that they have? Exactly. And they're also missing one of their top scorers, Brian Mbermo, because he's playing in AFCON. So what are we doing? You're not judging the team in its full strength and its full form. And I just think
that interview was classic frustrated manager.
I think honestly, it's
extremely frustrated manager.
I think that's
like,
what I want.
I don't know what I want. I don't know what you guys want, but But he did say, "I will do my job. If I have to be here and do my job, I'll do my job." But obviously, they thought different, and sack is the way.
Managing United is like going to war. Like, you come in there with this bright optimism of you don't know how bad it gets and how it's going to be, and then you leave and you got bags under your eyes and dark circles and you got bullet wounds.
Well,
and
it's going to be it's going to be tough because, like we said, you're in 8th place, so you're not like you're in bottom in relegation zone and there's only one way, and that's up.
A couple of bad results and then you're done.
Your manager coming in, you got a huge shoes to fill with when you're looking at you're in 8th. Right, a couple, you get 3 wins in a row, you could be touching Europa Champions League position, right?
I mean, the goal was, and it is still attainable technically, was the Champions League spots, because England will likely have 5, and they're in 8th. So, like, this is still possible. And
3 months of football.
3 months of football left, lots of time. They have nothing on the schedule. They don't play in Europe right now. So there's all the reason to look at this guy and say, okay, I understand we drew the Wolves, which is the worst Premier League team of all time. I understand that, we're going against Leeds. Now we draw Leeds. And it's not a good string of results.
It's a point, though.
It's a point. It's a point. We're missing players due to tournaments and injury. How about we just pump the brakes for a second? Because I look at this, and for me, this is prolonging them getting out of this steep hole. I don't see, like, what possibly is a new manager going to do in the summer, in your opinion? If you're a part of this Man U team and you look around and you don't see the guys out of practice, you don't see the guys out of game time because you're not a connected team and you're just a player on the team, and you see, well, they fired this guy. Now who are we going to get? What are you thinking? Are you thinking, are we ever going to get back to where we're supposed to be?
Yeah, I mean, and going back to the players that he wanted, not everybody's looking at Manchester United as an attractive move anymore, right? So
dice.
It's hard to draw some of those players that are looking and saying, okay, am I going to go to Man United when I can potentially go for a Europa or a Champions League competitive team? Why would I give that up, right? To go to a Man U to the question mark, the big question mark. So a lot of while a lot of changes are being had, they just sacked their coach. It's unsettling grounds, toxic environment clearly, and it's tough for a player to say, you know what, I'm going to take a gamble and go to Man United. It doesn't Manchester United because it's not. It doesn't have that same
aura about it.
It doesn't have that same impact.
The title, I guess, of them, right? Their name is lost value.
I mean, look at Chelsea.
We'll get there in a second, but before before we leave this, I think, and this is an open question for both of us. I'm struggling to find a player who came to Man U and became greater than they were in the last 10 years. I'm struggling to find a player who a Man United move actually benefited them, other than Bruno Fernandes, who continues to produce. But other than him, I cannot name one player who came to Man U, became the player they were meant to be, and took the team somewhere, whether that be a good finish or a FA, whatever. I can name multiple players just this season that left that have become very, very good players in the last year. Scott McTominay, Rasmus Højlund being two, just in the past year and a half. So if you're on the market right now, how low down in the pecking order is Man U? If they approach you, are you even considering a move to Man U as a player? Think back in your glory days. Would you ever consider this iteration of Man U as a destination as a player?
No, I wouldn't, because I would see what other options I have first, due to the uncertainty of the club.
Yeah,
right?
Totally.
I'd wait till they build their stadium.
A couple years.
Yeah.
Maybe
I'll wait
we'll
a couple
talk
years
then.
and see exactly. But right now, it's just from everything that you're hearing that's luring over this historic club. It's not something that's appetizing for any player.
100%.
It's a tough sell.
Yeah,
it's a tough sell. But I hope they get it right, as we said, for the game, for the Premier League. It still has that sound, Manchester United. It's still, when you hear it, you cannot think about the glory days.
Still the brand,
right?
It's still,
the brand is still the brand, but it's not to what it needs to be. They need to dust it off, polish it up, and figure it out real soon.
So speaking of managers leaving their posts or getting sacked, there are two other names on this list I'd like to discuss. I mean, Enzo Morenza left in a development that happened over, it seemed like the middle of the night our time. It just happened overnight. We wake up and he's leaving. You wake up and he's gone. And these are the same sort of circumstances under which Ruben Amorim was complaining about, right? Like Chelsea and Maresca had a good relationship, and then they started taking away these maneuvers that he would pull he needed to pull to be the manager. And he was accusing that he said that, they had instructions on who to play. They were giving him recommendations, like in terms of medical instruction. This guy needs to sit. This guy needs to play. This guy needs an extended time off. He was also unhappy with the growth of the control that the hierarchy had in terms of like tactical substitutions and who should start. Again, we're at a club that is massive with huge European and domestic pedigree, that is hiring somebody that they want to take charge, but then revoking those responsibilities halfway through the year. So, is this, and I hate to ask this question, but is this the new direction clubs are going in when it comes to appointing managers? No more managers, just coaches.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it's a shocking one, because after, especially coming off of World Club Championship,
a victory there?
Like
demolishing PSG.
You can't ask for more as a fan base.
No.
I mean, that's glory days, right? And something to build off of. And again, a team that's fighting for, again, a few wins, a couple 3-4 wins in a row. They're looking up. This one is a real shocker. This again, I don't know. I'm not sure what's happening over there regarding too high expectations, not being realistic. Again, but this sounds like a classic, very similar to Manchester United, disconnect between the staff.
It seems toxic. There's a lot of disconnect between, it seems, every level. And the question I really wanted to ask you is that this seems to be an Americanized European soccer team, the way they're run. They clearly want, like we were talking before, we don't understand the way managers work, but in North America, it's coach, GM, director of ops type of build. In European football, it's manager, sporting director, coaches under. I think Chelsea is going for that American approach. And in your mind, you've played the game. Is is that a good idea? And can you see that being successful in a league where it's so traditional on their approaches, and in a sport in a country where they're not used to that format? Is that something you can see being successful?
No, because it's the culture.
Yeah.
It's culture. That's how it's run, and it's very similar to MLS here. I mean, the head coach is really the manager.
In here, yeah, of course.
It's really the manager,
yeah.
and the assistant coach is really the coach.
Exactly.
Right, and so the coach is accessible, and the manager is like kind of more in the background, standoffish, right? You don't have access to the manager, you have access to the assistant coach or the coach, and then the coach kind of relays the message to the manager and manages everything. Or else it's just too much access, right?
Yeah, it's too many voices,
and that's where things kind of get blurred. But obviously the Chelsea one is a huge shock. It seems to me that there is very similar to Manchester United regarding there's some form of disconnect or lack of communication or lack of understanding or even respect in terms of what the gaffer wants to do, the manager wants to do, and what maybe the medical staff recommend, what at the top level is being translated. And that's the problem sometimes when you have so much layers as well.
Yeah.
Is there's just too much room for disconnect.
Totally.
Right. And I think that's what you're seeing with both organizations, both clubs. But again, you won a trophy, you won 2 trophies. You came off of one of your biggest accomplishment in a very long time last summer, winning the World Club Championships against PSG.
Best team in the world at the
What
time.
more can you ask for?
Yeah.
And then you're reaching into the season. Right now they're sitting at what, 4th, 5th of the Premier League.
Yeah, they're a little higher.
And then you go sack your coach. I mean, is there not a better way? Is there not a way you can massage it? Is there not a way you can translate? And hey, maybe they just organization and management didn't agree, and they're like, "F you," egos got in the way, and they said, "Okay, we'll rather let you go and release you than to keep you and deal with you."
It's a bad way to be, I think, and this is gonna sound a little crazy, but bear with me here. I think Arteta, if Arsenal win the Premier League this year, I think they'll look at that situation. Clubs will look at that because they always take bits from each other and influence. I think clubs will look at that and be like, this will save jobs. I think Arsenal winning titles will save jobs in the Premier League. And I think because you look at that and you say, look at this. They stuck with the guy. They qualified pretty much every year for Champions League. They were successful domestically, a couple of second place finishes, and then they win the title. And that's what you get when you stay with one guy and the right guy, and the philosophy is implemented. I think Arsenal winning the title this year will save football. No, I think it'll save jobs. This will no longer happen if they win.
Yeah.
Well, let's go back to international football, to a manager that is actually very, very good at his job. Jesse Marsch has selected his roster for the upcoming Guatemala friendly and the January camp. This roster will include Canadian players based in North American leagues because the European guys are in the middle of competition. You got a lot of guys from the Canadian Premier League, including the new Toronto teams, Shlo, Noah Abtene, and Atletico Ottawa, and Halifax Wanderers, Thiago Coimbra. So this roster is also featuring 8 uncapped players that some of them might make their debut against Guatemala. Jesse Marsch the spirits were high. The morale is great. What do you think about a camp like this? Like 6 months prior, like this, or ahead of the World Cup, this is a great thing to have. And I don't know about you, but the vibe around Canada seems just perfect.
Yeah, it's great. It's Jesse Marsch showing his support for CPL.
Yeah,
it's him opening the opportunities, no different than our neighbors in the U.S. The way they cap players left, right, and center.
Yeah,
it's a great opportunity to get players capped. Why not? why not put them in the fire and see what they can do and get them in young, see what kind of young talent is out there. So it's not so much, okay, maybe unless one does extremely fantastic. I mean, it's hard to change, I think that the 18, but bubbling over into post World Cup, some of these players might be like, okay, you know what, this we might have something here. We might have an interesting talent here.
Big time.
So, great opportunity. Again, great move by Jesse. I think one manager, as we go back to the other situation, one manager that understands, I think, play relations and also with an iron fist is Jesse. I think
100%.
He has a really good pulse on knowing when to step in and take full control and when to just ease back and take a player under his wings. I want to see these players do well, represent especially the CPL. I think it's important that we need to highlight our local professional league, and he's putting a lot of trust in these players. And I know Shola's been there already in one or two camps. Noah's his first one, and obviously Thiago's his first camp. So only one thing I can say is, take the bull by the horns. This is your time to prove yourself that you belong to compete with these players. You have experienced players in the fold like Jonathan Osorio, Richie Leray is going to be there. So it's not like it's an amateur pool. It's still
it's
very
our team.
Good quality team. And now you get to train and prove yourself amongst them. And who knows what move could happen after a good match against Guatemala or even a good camp.
I totally agree. And I think I really like the vibes around this team and the vibes around where this team can go have already drastically improved compared to where we were in Qatar. And that's not a knock against Jonathan Herdman. I just think there are certain people for certain purposes, and Herdman's purpose was to lay the groundwork, establish some sort of footing on the international scale, and then he wasn't necessarily a guy that was going to bring them to the next level. I think Jesse Marsch is the guy to do just that. And I think we've seen the intensity by which he trains his players and feeds into them, in games like when we're playing Argentina in the Copa America, we're playing Ecuador, and they're bringing that element of shithousery that we always talk about to the table. And instead of willowing away, we're embracing the classical sense of Canadian toughness and fighting right back. It's growth in tactics, it's growth in direction, and it's also growth in knowing the game in this country. And picking Canadian Premier League players for the Canada camp is huge. Like, imagine one of these guys makes the team in 2020 in the World Cup, and we got a guy in the Canadian Premier League that's playing in the World Cup. That's an astounding achievement for that league as well.
Yeah, a league that's growing and not growing at the same time. Very, I think.
Do you think so?
Oh yeah. I mean, you lose a team like Halifax.
True.
We know on the West Coast, both teams are struggling right now. Vancouver and
West
Pacific.
Coast, the Vancouver market, I cannot take seriously anymore because they're just ruining on all fronts.
But York is struggling. I'm a little bit concerned about the CPL right now, to be honest, because to have a team like Halifax the team's gone with no relocation. Like, you just lost your league is at how many teams they have? 8, 9?
Yeah.
So now it's gone down to 8.
Yeah.
Pacific is on the verge of falling apart. Vancouver Whitecaps and Vancouver is on the cusp. But just sticking to CPL, there's a lot of uncertainties going on.
True.
York is struggling. Let's be honest, they're struggling. It's hard to get fans there. I think location-wise, it's a tough sell. I don't understand why. I keep saying this is why they don't just give away free tickets to the schools in the community, or if they have done that and they're not coming out. I don't know. I don't know. But, I think we need another team in Toronto. I think we need a CPL team in Toronto.
The team I was referring to was Inter Toronto.
Oh, that was just a name change, though, right?
Yeah, name change, I guess.
It was
yeah.
a name change.
But I saw that when they rebranded,
But-
they had like Xavi announce their thing, and they had like a bunch of press around it, and it looked really good.
Yeah, but why Inter Toronto? What's Inter Toronto?
Hell if I know, man.
Why? But why?
don't
Like,
know.
again, I don't understand why we have to take these European names, right? Where you think you're Inter Toronto, and all of a sudden now it's like you're affiliated with Inter Milan.
You throw
or,
on the black and the blue, and you're the Nerazzurri, and
is,
now
is-
you're
is
gonna.
there, is there an affiliation with Inter?
Not that I know of. The colors aren't even the same. I don't think there's no affiliation with Inter Miami either. I think it's just the name.
But why? Well, my thing is why.
I don't know.
Why not just make it a Toronto thing? Sell it to the local grassroots community that can access. It's affordable ticket. We need a team there to support what we're doing.
Yeah.
But I can't help look past that. Okay, Halifax folded, and there's no relocation. Nobody came in and said, okay, we'll take that team over because they see value.
So it's just done then.
Halifax done. You have 20-something players.
Yeah. What are they gonna do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's not enough teams to spread. Everybody's got their rosters full.
Yeah.
Right? So, you like I said, you have Pacific. I don't know if they're coming or going. There's so much news every day about what they owe, and they owe the city money, and this. I just think it's in your face. It looks good, but in the background, is CPL really
The foundation
gonna be
is-
sustainable after the World Cup? And it's concerning because we need it to be.
Do you think it will be? I mean, is it a case where like, all right, let's hold on for the next 6 months, and then by the time we get to the World Cup, the popularity and the revenue will come back into the league? Is it a case like that? You think?
It's a tough one because of the uncertainty of the league. I think, I think we have to find ways to get more sponsorships to the CPL. We have to find a way to elevate now the CPL to a level where fans want to come out and support. Toronto FC and MLS contribution to soccer in Canada, I'll say soccer, football,
Sure.
in Canada has been unprecedented.
Yep.
Right. I mean, look at our national team.
100%.
Right.
Yes.
And I say this all the time. Our youth national team, our U17s,
Yeah.
have done fairly well. Our U20s are, hopefully going to do well. But all of this is because of the pathways. All of this is because of the academy structures that have been put in place.
Yeah.
From the MLS, because they understood that development, the European model.
Yes.
Right. You can't just go around buying talent. We have to develop talent.
Yeah.
Right? We have to create pathways. CPL didn't do that. CPL started at the top, and now they're looking down and like, okay, where are we getting talent from?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's no pathways. There's no development stream. There's no development structure. So without that, it's like you built the roof without building the foundation.
Yeah.
Right?
Jeez.
And you need to build the foundation unless you have MLS pedigree. I mean, pedigree money
Yeah.
to support what you're doing.
Yeah, true.
Right?
True.
Right?
Yeah.
Because, but we need it. The reason why I'm going to say this in respect of my role and position, right, as ambassador for the game in Canada, and I really want to see the game grow. And in order for the game to grow, we need the CPL to do well, right? It's not enough options. Toronto FC is a I don't want to say a big fish in a massive ocean of talent.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you look, I mean, from the borders of Ottawa to BC, there's a lot of kids playing soccer.
Yeah.
And there's TFC. And then Montreal is over here, and Vancouver is over here.
Yeah, there's only 3 options,
only
and you
3
need
real-
more. And because
need
of
it.
and because of who we are as North Americans in terms of our structure of sports, there's no like championship team or League 1, League 2 to League 4. Like there's just TFC because they don't follow the relegation model. So it's not like you can go and play for York United and MLS 2. You know what I mean? Like there's not that option. So if let's just say the worst case scenario happens and somehow, some way after World Cup, the CPL does not gain more popularity and they do not get a revenue injection, and they do fold, what is that going to do for
Devastating.
the Canadian team?
That would be devastating. That would be, and I think that's why Jesse is doing this to inject trust and show the masses, the football masses, that there is opportunities if you play in the CPL.
Mm-hmm.
Look at my kids; they both play in the CPL.
Yeah,
my son got signed in Seattle, right? Because he was playing against men. He was playing the CPL.
Yeah.
We have seen players sign in Germany and these other places playing out of CPL. But what I'm saying is there's no development stream, there's no development structure for these CPL teams as there is in MLS.
Yeah.
So that is needed, right? We need multiple streams of development in professional environments for a player pool that is massive.
In other words, sustainability.
Sustainability for sure. Because the reality is in Canada, right? And this is just my theory, right? We don't have professional players or minded players until like 22, 23. We're late bloomers.
Why is that?
Because life is too easy here. Straight up. Life is too easy here. What are you gonna worry about? Your parents come to the country to make a better life for you. They get government funding.
Mm-hmm.
They get a house. They get an apartment. You got a car. You're
not grinding.
You're not grinding.
Age. Yeah.
You're not. So that element of like fire in your belly. And football is not cultural as yet.
No.
And I'm hoping that with the World Cup coming is going to inject and fuel that passion and that culture at the grassroots level. We're still very passive in terms of at the grassroots level where we're not even competitive at 12, 13 years old.
No chance. No.
There's no competition.
They're all playing hockey anyway.
It's still they're playing. Majority of the kids are playing football, soccer. They do play hockey, but if you go play kid for kid, I could tell you right now, more kids play soccer than play hockey. There's no comparison. Right now.
You think so?
I know so.
I mean,
that's been that way since late 90s.
What?
I'm telling you, look it up. I'm telling you this for a fact.
It does make sense though, because hockey's such a financial thing. Right. That makes a lot of sense. I believe that. Yeah.
And kids play soccer because it's not. Most hockey players play soccer and soccer players play hockey, right? And the kids that make it through hockey are the parents that could afford it, which needs to change too, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Unless we, because there's a lot of talent that we're missing, right? A lot of kids of various ethnicities that we're losing because of this.
I mean,
but that's a tough.
It's not working anyway because
that's a subject for another day.
They just lost the World Junior. I mean, you saw that's a direct correlation as to where our youth is at in terms of who they're picking for those teams. And
you need seasoning in your pot to make it work.
That is a whole other
Every
conversation.
country besides Argentina's and Uruguay's and these places, because I've never seen passion like a football, and I've traveled the world. I have never seen it like I've seen in Argentina.
Really?
I've never seen these guys live, eat, sleep,
it's a religion.
breathe.
It's a religion.
It's
for them.
culture. It's in their blood.
Yeah.
Like they don't need away fans. They sell out with just their home fans.
Yeah.
Like that's unprecedented anywhere in the world. Like I mean, sold out.
Yeah.
Right. And they can't have away fans because the passion is so intense.
Because they'll kill them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Straight up.
I mean, you saw it, right? Remember that story?
And I'm not condoning that, but I am condoning the passion side of it. I am condoning the fact that we need to create that environment or find some way to create that similar to that environment here. And we can't create that if at 13, 14 years old, we're playing in tournaments that's called festivals. And then at U17, we have to go to World Cup qualifiers against these countries or go to qualify for a World Cup. And we can't get past certain stages because our kids, it's not in their blood.
They're not built for it.
They're not built to go through, fight to the end.
But I also feel that that's a little bit of a generational thing. I think nobody in this new generation is ever going to have the fight that your generation had. In terms of the attitude, the resilience, the compete, the ability to, face adversity and overcome it. With that being said, it feels like sports now, even when I was a kid playing, is a lot more vanilla in the way that they can give you criticism, in the way that they can
that's
try to make you better.
That's also because of today.
That's
coaches,
a societal change and a
right.
political thing. But
you,
that is
you
bad.
Get lawsuits left, right, and center. Parents are, you can't talk to my kid like this. I have my own academy. I know how it's like.
Yeah, but what benefit is that? That's a total. They want you
to raise young men, and they want you to raise young women. But once you get forceful and say, listen, that's not good enough for that attitude. Some parents, they love it. Some parents 100%. Are like, oh, I don't think you should talk to my kid that way. Well, maybe your kid needs that.
Okay, but imagine you got a kid at your academy who's got really good, a lot of raw potential, but he's like a wah-wah. Okay,
well, the problem.
Now, here's my thing. You take that kid and you try and give him a little bit of fire, right? You light a fire up, under him. And the mom or the dad comes to you and says, listen, you can't talk to my kid like that, okay? You gotta treat him with respect.
Well, that was the point I was getting to.
Now my question is, what happens when, God forbid, that kid makes Team Canada and they play South American opposition? The kid's
he won't even get to that
I
level.
understand.
And that's why TFC is and Montreal Impact and Vancouver is good, because that environment is organically created. Because if you don't stand up and you don't compete against other MLS teams,
then
and you're not competitive at U14, U15, U16, then you don't make it. And then a lot of parents are like, oh, this kid's so talented. Yeah, but talent is not enough.
No.
If they're not mentally strong, if they can't endure showing up every day, showing up on time, showing up with your pants up, you know what I mean, and with a mentality that I want to be the best every day, and I'm going to work hard through the challenges, through the tough moments. Talent is a small fraction of making it. Mentality is the next chapter. But going back to the parents is part of the reason why we are not competitive at U13s, U14s, because you have these leagues, and you could see them where they call it unsanctioned leagues, and parents are fighting each other. Parents are on the field. It's brutal. We tried to do this because I think the competitive component in sport is so valuable to kids. Kids need to know you lost and it's okay.
Yeah.
But what is the solution? Train harder, work harder. The solution isn't the coach yelling at the referee for the whole game, or pulling a kid off and yelling at him.
No.
That's not development. That's destruction. But we're seeing this more and more because programs want to win at all costs. And that's where and parents want to win at all costs.
Yeah.
So when as an organization or a governing body sees that, they're like, okay, let's pull these reins back a little bit and let's make it more fun for the kids in an environment where they can still have fun and still develop, where they don't feel so pressured that kids want to jump off the bridge because they feel so pressured. And this is real stuff. I'm not even like, I say it as a joke, but this has happened.
Yeah, I believe it.
Kids are taking extreme measures because the pressures are so high.
Yeah.
But that's also us evolving in this country and evolving the sport and understanding now is the time, in my position or my point of view, is we need a changing of the guards right across the board. We need fresh ideas, fresh minds. We need youthfulness now. We need to create an environment where you have multiple streams for the kids at 10, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 that their parents are not too sure. They're not, there's an environment for them where it's not so competitive. But the kids that want to be driven, we need to create an environment for them too that is
separate, I guess.
Separate, yes, but structured with more rules and more ownership and more responsibilities in terms of, okay, we're gonna create this, but if this happens, we have zero tolerance.
Yep.
If coaches are gonna argue with referees, we're gonna reprimand them right away. If parents come onto the field, your club is getting fined or X, Y, and Z.
That's crazy. I can't believe that kind of shit happens with the parents on the field, man.
It happens. The other day, we're running a tournament, and a kid gets injured, and a parent ran on the field. A parent ran on the field. I was like, come off the field. Another thing happened, and from the other team, and a parent ran. I had to walk on the field and let them know I don't play that. I have to let everyone know that doesn't happen here.
What's the point?
So if it happens again, I'm shutting this tournament down.
Yeah.
I don't care
Yeah.
because for me, it creates too much environment where the parents feel they have too much access. Listen, I know it's your kid, and I know you love your kid, and we all want the best for your kid, but that's what coaches are there for. They come on the field, and if we see it's a situation where, God forbid, if a kid breaks his leg or it's a serious
Then
injury,
you get on there. Like, you just
we
read
can think
it.
but we can manage it a little bit better than if parents feel like, oh, they could just run on the field or they have access to just enter into the playing area. You're jeopardizing other kids.
Let me tell you something. I think this is a cultural thing in Canada because of how batshit crazy hockey parents are. And I think it's leaking over into soccer.
Yeah, and they need, and that's what I'm saying, they need to have things in place for when these things happen, that it's a zero tolerance, because other countries are doing it, and they're developing talent. They're developing talent at a faster rate than we are. And look at the size of Canada. Look how many kids. We're talking about hundreds of thousands, almost millions of kids playing soccer.
Yeah.
Across Canada.
Yeah.
Right. So it other countries are doing it, and it's working. So what are they doing that they're doing so right that we're not?
We're doing it well on the highest of levels, I guess. On the highest of levels of the national team, and you can say that.
Well, that's what I said. TFC
2 out of the 3
it's a product of those environments, those competitive environments.
And 2 out of the 3 Canadian MLS teams are doing it well, aside from Vancouver, because they got their own thing going on.
What do you mean? Why you say Vancouver not?
Because
Vancouver 100% do it. They just sold Ali Ahmed.
I agree with that,
Alfonso
but
Davies.
But like the situation with the team there is also like.
Oh yeah. No, we're not talking about that
That's the only
part.
reason I say that.
Yeah, but you're talking about something different.
I guess the
I'm talking
highest
about
level
development.
But
you don't like Vancouver, huh?
I love Vancouver. I have a jersey at home, man. I saw them play live a couple years ago.
No,
but I agree with you. I think it seems to me that the highest level is being done very well, and then what you're saying at the grassroots level is sort of like all over the place in a way.
In certain environments,
It's
right. That's what I'm saying. We need to follow the structure and the environment. That I would love to be like Europe, where I look down the street, there's a pro club there, there's another pro club.
It'll
there,
never be like that.
And there's streams where
never
we develop and grow. Why you say never?
That because that is their like every.
I think that's what CPL could have been.
Every country has a sport.
Mm-hmm.
Europe has football. South America has football.
USA is doing it.
USL,
look at that.
USA is different.
Relegation.
USA is different. You're talking about something that we see in the USA only with baseball or football. And you're talking about something that you want to see in Canada that we only see with hockey.
No, but I'm saying we see that with soccer in the US.
It's coming, but it'll
never...
No,
it's not coming. It's here.
It'll never be as big as baseball in the US.
I think it's bigger.
No chance.
100%.
No chance.
You know how much kids
bigger
are
than
playing?
baseball.
You know how much kids, but again, we're seeing baseball. Are you seeing baseball in the terms of growth of the sport?
Yeah.
Are you seeing baseball in terms of finances?
So
you're saying there's more kids that play baseball than they do play soccer?
Probably.
In the US?
Probably.
Or no chance.
Absolutely.
No chance.
All day.
No
all
chance.
Day long.
How much you want to bet?
We'll do tenner on it.
10 or 100?
No, tenner on it. Tenner on it. What I'm saying.
Tenner on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I'm saying is that
there's more. There's MLS.
No.
There's MLS. There's new teams coming into MLS next year.
There's 15 baseball bats in every single American garage. And I know that immigration over the last 10 years here and in North America is changing the outlook of sports, but that will not change the fact that every kid's got a hockey stick here. It will not change the fact that every kid in the U.S. has a baseball bat.
My kids don't have hockey sticks.
They should.
Why?
Because hockey's hockey, man. It's awesome. No, I'm just kidding. But
soccer.
That's fair.
I grew up in government housing. I can tell you how many. I never had a hockey stick. I borrowed hockey sticks from kids that could afford hockey sticks.
Yeah, sure.
No one's buying my parents look at me and saying, "I'm not buying no Cooper stick for 100 and what?"
No, it is
what?
overpriced.
I buy still on some Patricks and miters on your feet and go kick around that ball for free.
Is that baseball is the most American sport there has ever been, or maybe football, but I would say baseball.
I'm not taking that away.
And
I'm not saying hockey is not Canadian sport.
You look out, right? You look out, and you're saying, "I want to see." Soccer's my favorite sport. Baseball is boring as rocks. Like it's unless playoffs.
Let me ask you something.
What?
All right, go around. I lived in the U.S. by
Okay.
the way,
Yeah.
for almost more time than I lived in Canada.
Okay.
And I could tell you right now, if I go around, I will see more kids playing soccer than at the park playing baseball. Not organized. Not organized.
I think it's both ways.
I don't. I think more kids are playing soccer than they're playing baseball in the U.S.
Okay,
today.
so in the U.S. alone, look at it like this, okay? Have you seen what they do for high school football?
But again, you're talking about a
I'm just making an
financial
example.
injection.
I'm just making an example.
Right.
Have you seen what they do for high school football?
Yeah.
Pickup games at the park. They have 6-year-old kids playing football, which is
Yeah,
crazy.
they have 100,000 fans at a college university.
Now, it's
game.
the same thing as baseball, man. Like, baseball is an American sport. Kids will grow up playing baseball, even if they're not American natively, even if they're like I was from European, or even if they're like you were. They're going to, because the American kid is like, yo, boys, let's go run baseball at the park. You're playing baseball. I think we'll never get to the level of Europeans that they love soccer because it's not in our DNA. It maybe over time it'll be like hockey and soccer are on similar pedestals, but they're like, you'll go to places like, I don't know, some like a middle of nowhere in Saskatchewan, and there's nothing but there's a rink.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. No, you're talking Canada. We're talking about Canada, U.S.
okay, you'll go to some batshit crazy place in West Virginia, but there's a baseball diamond. There's no hospital, but there's a baseball diamond. That is crazy. Right? I don't know if soccer will ever be that for North America, is what I'm saying.
Well, man, I went to where is it called? Yukon territory.
That's crazy.
And
What are you
kids are
doing there?
playing soccer.
What are you doing there?
I did
though?
a soccer camp because
That's awesome.
I wanted to see what soccer looks like in Yukon. Because when you hear Yukon, you're thinking cold, you're thinking skiing, you're thinking hockey for sure. But there's a bunch of kids that love and play soccer. So I was asked to do a camp out there, and I was very happy. I did it with the First Nations. And we did an amazing camp. They had their ceremony, but there are kids there that play soccer, and you would never think that.
Yes.
Right? And I would love to see more and find a way how to introduce the game and access to the game in those communities, because for me, they're no different than the immigrants that come to this country, backs against the wall, that football is the sport and the passion, and they come here and they adopt hockey.
Sure.
They adopt baseball.
Yeah.
Because they feel that that's the Canadian thing to do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I'm not taking away that football and baseball is not America's sport. I'm not taking away the fact that hockey is Canada's traditional sport.
Sure.
But what I am saying is that narrative is changing, and
Yes.
it has changed in the US, but it hasn't changed commercially because the powers that be are not opening that door wide enough to let soccer come take over.
Yeah.
Because how dare soccer come
No.
and take over and be an American
and
sport
take
now.
over baseball
And
or
take
some
over
football,
baseball
like,
and
right,
football.
yeah. Which
So that's all I'm saying.
Which I get, and I think the reason why it's portrayed that way, and I think the USA, like the athletics in the USA, have so much money to play with, so like they can build the field beside the park for the kids to play at in an unorganized level.
top of the
Like
line
they
field,
can
too.
do that, and we just simply can't because they are a population almost 400 million, and we're a population of less than 50 million. Like that's number one right away. So if there needs to be
So you're
a
saying
soccer
the reason
field,
why we don't have like 8 fields is because of the population?
no, I think that the way the USA
Because I just want one of those.
the way that
If they could just build like 5 amazing immaculate fields somewhere, and that's happening.
It is
It's
happening,
at
but the way-
Centennial.
the-
It's happening at Lamoureux, field refurbishments for the World Cup
Yes,
coming here.
yeah.
And I'm saying when that happens, I'm confident you're gonna see again this game
Totally. I'm not saying
at
you
a
won't,
level
but I'm
in the
saying
U.S. is there. The
U-
U.S. is already there.
No, I think the U.S. Listen, the way they treat athletics is crazy. When you and you really
pump
look at
cash
it,
into it.
you really look at it through the Olympic lens. They're competitive in every single sport they play in.
American
so
way.
naturally, they're going to invest in every single sport there is. So I'm saying that you're gonna, of course, optically, yeah, they're already there. They got millions or hundreds of thousands of soccer fields around the country. I get it, but the baseball diamond is still full every day. The football field is
With
still full every day.
organized.
Both.
I don't know.
Kids have been playing pickup baseball, unorganized or organized, for 100 years.
For
in
sure.
the U.S.
For sure. I'm not arguing
And
that.
I, as much as I find
equally
the
as
sport
kids are playing
over there,
In U.S., yeah.
Oh, not in the U.S. In Europe, in South America.
Oh.
Not in the U.S. just yet. And I think that, it's got hundreds of years of traditions of Americans picking up a glove and a bat and a ball and going to play baseball. And as boring as I find it, holy shit, 162 games of nothing all year.
You need to.
I don't like it. I'd rather it be soccer.
You need to go to New York, and you need to go into the city, and these mini pitches that they've built up all over New York. Now that's
electric. That's cool.
I'm telling you right now,
cool.
There's kids playing there.
I 100%
and
believe
that's what we need in Toronto.
There is
mini pitches all over the city, and I will guarantee you that if you go to Lakeshore, there's always people co-ed baseball picking up. But I guarantee you, in all those fields that we build, if you go by Spadina there's a turf field. There's constantly people playing soccer.
Canoe Landing.
If you go by Cherry Beach.
I played there.
Cherry Beach back there. The fields right now, I guarantee you there's kids or there adults or kids playing soccer as we speak in the snow outside.
Probably, yeah.
No, not probably. This is a fact.
We should do a DeRo Diehard pickup game and see how many people show up.
Let's do it.
A big crowd.
DeRo Diehard pickup game. It's coming.
Big time.
You guys ready? And we're going to interview all you guys. We're going to select you and get you on the live podcast. And we're going to get you fuel to see, where's the game at in this city. It's game crunchy. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea, man. Let's wrap it up. Yeah. This is long. This is awesome, though.
Juicy.
Okay, let's go right to Offside or On Point. Quick sidebar. If
you're offside, by the way.
If you're looking to watch football this weekend, AFCON is on Friday and Saturday, the quarterfinals.
Beautiful.
Really good matchups
there.
Into that. And
it's
crazy football.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I love it. Coaches going crazy. And
players doing flips and landing on their head. It's insane. It's very wild entertaining.
It's coming.
Let's do Offside or On Point, though. First one for DeRo. If Italy qualify for the World Cup, Canada will be in the group of death. Offside or On Point?
I think it's on point. I mean, I think we have a tough group. Everyone thinks that this is an easy group. I don't understand. Qatar's a tough team. Switzerland's a tough team. And Italy, they're not the strongest. I don't know if they're going to qualify.
Still a tough team.
But still, it's going to be a tough team.
Yeah. Okay. Onside. Perfect. That's a good one. That's a good start. All right. She Believes Cup will become one of the premier soccer tournaments for women's soccer with the inclusion of Argentina, Colombia, and the USA.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I really do. I want to see, women's game continue to grow. It's amazing to what we saw here at the
Northern
Super League here. So I want to see, She Believes Cup. I think it will be the premier tournament for women's soccer. I think Argentina, Colombia, with US playing in it, it only raises the profile. I think a lot of these smaller countries are starting to improve, starting to invest a lot in the women's game. And, I think as Canada women's soccer grows, I think we got to be very mindful now of these smaller countries as they start to inject resources into the women's game in their country.
We got competition.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. After 2026, the transfer of players from the MLS to the top 5 leagues in Europe will become more frequent than it ever has. So Europe's going to invest more into our North American-born players.
100%. And I do believe vice versa. I do believe MLS is going to get younger South American and European and African players.
Oh,
yep.
I like that.
I know they're going to get younger players, and vice versa. European teams are gonna purchase MLS, and it's gonna be no different than buying and selling, especially with the calendar changing next year in MLS. That's gonna fit with the global schedule, and I think it's an open market.
What a response! Beautiful. I am the special
I'm
one.
European champion. I think I'm a special one.
All right, that's it, man. That's it for this episode of DeRo and the Diehard. Back from the holidays, feeling great and very excited. We'll be back next Friday with the best footy podcast north of the border. DeRo.
Stay tuned. Always stay locked in. DeRo and the Diehard every week.